Wisdom of the earth, lessons unfold from.
Hi, my name is Audre Gutierrez, and I'm the owner of Wisdom of the Earth Essential Oils in beautiful Verde Valley of Arizona. And I'm doing a series on foundational oils that built our company because we are celebrating our 25th year in Arizona in the fall around Labor Day. We've carried them since the beginning, and either them or a family member of that plant. And I wanted to talk today about frankincense, which we have had since the beginning. But the one I want to talk about is a very amazing, relatively new one for us to carry. And it's called Boswellia neglecta, and it's a rare black frankincense. And the reason it's called black frankincense is because the resin that it produces is black in color. Most resins are a goldish brown or a mottled brown color, but this one is really unusual in that it's black. And the reason I wanted to mention this one instead of our Somalian one is because this really represents our value of, when possible, working directly with the farmers who produce the oils. And so this farmer, I have a lot to say about him. He's a pretty amazing guy. And one of the things I love about him is that they treat the people who gather the resin from the trees extremely fairly and extremely well. They are really there to support the economic development of that area in Kenya. A lot of the problems with regular traditional frankincense, which the one we carry is Boswellia carterii, is that it's very big in the perfume trade, the perfume industry, and people, the middlemen, make all the money. The people who actually harvest it, which is a very dangerous job. Many of these trees grow in areas that are very inhospitable, rocky, hilly, hot. And so it's not an easy job by any stretch of the imagination. And in some cases, it's quite dangerous. Now, in this case, it's not quite so dangerous, and I'm going to tell you why. So I was talking to this farmer, and he said, this frankincense is the most sustainable frankincense on the market. I said, wow, that's a pretty strong statement. How do you back it up? And he said, well, this one, instead of using a machete to cut a tree and then the resin seeps out and it's collected, there is an insect that bores into the Boswellia neglecta tree, and the resin actually seeps out of those holes that insect bores. And then they collect the resin that way, but they do not have to hit it and break its bark and everything with a machete to harvest it. So the tree heals. So even when they're doing it with a machete, the tree heals. And then again, they go back when it has developed more resin and tap it again. But the thing about this one is it is an act of nature that creates the dripping out of this resin. And he sent me a picture, and it's literally just pouring out of the tree. And the guy who was collecting it, his hand was just covered in resin. So it was a pretty amazing conversation, and some of the images he sent to me were quite compelling and really supported his story. So that was very impressive to me. But we have always wanted to know our farmers, know our suppliers. We do deal with some larger suppliers, but if they aren't heart based, if they aren't literally in love with what they do and the people they work with, they are not the people for Wisdom of the Earth to use as a supplier. I'll throw in another little example of working with a larger company. And we were doing a collection of lavenders, and we called it Lavenders Around the World, because I was fascinated when I found out, even though Bulgaria and France are the best known, we got some from Greece, we have some from Spain, and our spike lavenders from Spain, and it's pretty amazing. But this gentleman, who's my contact at this, it's a family owned company, but it's large. At this company, I said, oh, we're going to be doing a promotion. And I said, I'd love to get some pictures of the farmer who does your spike lavender. And he said, we just visited him last year. The president of the company took a ton of pictures. I'm sure he'll send some to you. And he did. So it was just really amazing. He was so excited that we wanted to know the background, and he took pictures of the owner, and the owner had a donkey that looked just like one of the ones I used to have in the field next to his office. And it was just a wonderful example of them knowing their farmers face to face and visiting them, and then being willing to go to his personal in pictures from his camera to send them to me to use in our promotion. So that's really the kind of relationship we like to have with our producers, our farmers, our harvesters. And so it was this frankincense neglecta, which isn't as well known. It's just an exquisite and powerful oil. I really love the story around it because I love that they treat their people who gather this resin well. They are there to help in the economic development of the community. And they're really offering a very special, rare product that we have just fallen in love with. And so this is the kind of relationship we like to have with our suppliers. We know them personally. It's really just an amazing thing to have that kind of communication and personal relationship with the people you work with. And that is something we really treasure at Wisdom of the Earth.